Hmm. I feel like there are a lot of things I wanted to talk about, and I don't know if I wanted to make this video as one for myself or um, one that's more of a public video diary, but I feel like I've been thinking a lot about what it means to have a body, especially because I feel like I've experienced dissociation in some form since I was probably like 13. Um, and I feel like it really kicked in when I was like 18 or 19. Just when more traumatic things happened to me and my body. So I feel like I've thought about often, like, what would it be like to not be in this body, but also to feel like I didn't live in this body. And I feel like I've been thinking about it a lot more because now on TikTok, there's a lot more like, I don't know how to explain it. It's honestly quite insufferable. It's these like derealization like POVs, but in some ways they're accurate and helpful, and um, I think, well, helpful, I don't know, but they're accurate, I think, in some of them. Some of them just feel like an excuse for someone to strap like a GoPro on something and, you know, have an excuse to like do all around. But that is what it feels like. And I don't really know the difference between derealization and dissociation. I think one stems from the other. But I feel like it is bringing me to this larger question of what is my body? Like, how do I, adjust to having one? How do I acknowledge it? How do I use it? How do I live in it? Um, in my group therapy that I talked about a little bit before, my therapist said and was trying to tell us like your bodies are a source of information. So even if you think like, oh, I'm not feeling anxious, or you're not sure how you feel about someone, or there's this classic argument that comes up now. It's like, are you really feeling butterflies, or does this person make you anxious? Okay, I think this depends on person to person, because I think you can feel butterflies and still like it's not like a sign of danger, but it is important to know like the vocabulary of your body, um, and what that can tell you and do for you. I really like this light. Let's see. Oh, well, well, I need it, I guess. Hold on. Is this gonna be better? Let's see. Kind of. I like this better. I don't really like the light right in my face anyway. But it is interesting to like, what was I even saying? To realize that you do have a body, and like that it has its own vocabulary and way of speaking to you and letting you know things and sending signs and signals. And um it just really made me think about what it even means to occupy a body. I feel like sometimes I think about, and this is like, I don't know if this is just pure existentialism or if this is like part of me disassociating, but often I will wake up and be like, why the hell is any of this even real? I went to the planetarium about a few weeks ago or something, and a lot of it was like talking about the Big Bang, and then we had gone into like the part where it described the Big Bang and whatever, and it just left me with a lot more questions, and especially the question of like, well, how the hell did any of these cells and atoms and I don't know, science and all that, how the hell did that create something like me? Like, I feel like I understand to an extent. Well, I guess I don't. I don't understand how any of this, like, would create a living being with its own thoughts and motives and anything like that. And I feel like I often wake up thinking that kind of thing and thinking, why the hell is this even real? Why is this real? Why is this real? You know, like, why is this real? Like, just like, I just don't, I have a hard time, like, understanding why any of this is real. And I think part of it, that, like, takes me from my body in a way. But, I was thinking a lot about, like, what it feels like for me to have a body. I think I didn't really feel like I had one, or I mean, it's just like easy for you to like walk through life, right? And to think, this is just me walking through life. This is just me experiencing XYZ, whatever. But it doesn't feel like this is me and my body. Like I am inside something. And often it feels like this trapped kind of situation where I feel stuck, especially when you feel like a really uncomfortable emotion. You feel really stuck and you want to be able to leave your body. I often wish I could like unzip in the back or something and escape just for a little bit and take a deep breath. But I'm wondering what that version of myself would even look like once I zip out of there. Like what the hell would be in there? Because I don't even mean like my muscles and my bones and whatever. I'm thinking me. And I'm like, what the hell even is that? I guess I just mean my essence. This past month I also watched Julio Torres's Phantasmus, the series on Max. And I feel like because he's an air sign, he has such this like kind of like omniscient view. This is what I find about air signs, like this omniscient view of life and society, you know? But it's true, he does. And a major plot point is that, like, in this new society, in this show, you need a proof of existence, which is like an ID, but you need to prove that you exist so that you can do anything. Like, if you want an apartment, if you want a job, if you want to do anything. And he doesn't want to do that. He doesn't want to subscribe to that. So he found a way, or this service, where you can upload yourself to something and not have a body or a consciousness, but you have to be able to pay for it. So it's almost like subscribing to a version of yourself that doesn't exist, but you're still like having to maintain this material way of existing, or else you'll just be deleted. Like you won't exist in the upload or the cloud or whatever. But sometimes I do wish that I could upload myself or something, that like I could be some kind of floating thing of energy or be nothing and my body will just lay there like this and wait for me to come back. I, in thinking about like recording this video, I was thinking about a lot of things. First of all, I was thinking about in not even in just 2020, because I feel like this existed when I was studying anthropology in undergrad in like 2017, 2018. This like constant reference to like the black body. And it's like, I've never heard the white body. I've never heard white bodies before. But then, like, you know, then in 2020, when everyone started to get all, oh, I guess I should start caring about black people, it was the black body this and the black body that. And we need to protect black bodies. And that really threw me for a loop. Because when you say we need to protect black bodies, we need to save black bodies, like the black body is responding in this way, it reminds me that I don't know if it reminds me, but it kind of like emphasizes to me that there is a separate being from myself and my soul and my essence that is my body, which is being perceived first and foremost, whether I like it or not. Everything about me is being analyzed and grouped together. I guess I need this light, unfortunately. And grouped together without my permission. It's just automatic. I mean, I do it. Everyone does it. You look at someone and you make assumptions and you ask questions and you feel a certain way or whatever. But to have this idea of like, yeah, we need to save the black bodies, we need to protect the black bodies, we need to whatever it may be. First of all, I just like am thinking it like creates this kind of like idea that right, like there's this one larger um generalized version of a black body, right? It's like when you think of that first, what the hell do you think of? What comes to mind first? Because it's not like when you think of, if I say like imagine some cheese, right? You're going to imagine first like that cartoonish block of cheese with holes in it. Like it's not going to be like every type of cheese is running through your mind, and you are thinking of all of them at the same time. No, you're thinking about one type of cheese that is representative of all cheeses, right? So when you say the black body, you are creating an image in your mind of what this body looks like. You are not attending to all the different ways that people can look, and you are already deciding subconsciously to protect or perceive or whatever it may be a certain type of body. And then you go further into that, and it's not even that it's just the body. It's just the body. So you're not even recognizing, wait, let me protect black people, right? Let me have some, care and kindness and community for my fellow man, my fellow Americans. It's let me protect this body and not the person or whatever. And I feel like in a lot of ways the way I dissociate is like it I remember, and I don't know how many people I've told this. I don't think I've told anybody this, but when I was little, I remember one specific instance, and when I was little, like I grew up in an extremely white place, no doubt about it. And obviously, when you watch Disney Channel all day, I mean, we had That's So Raven, right? But like, it just like that's only one person. I remember the only like black girls I would see on TV was Tyra Banks in Life Size, and then That's So Raven, and I really wanted to be both of them, right? But then in my real life, there's no one like that who's representative like that, like besides my family. And I'm not going into this whole thing about representation. In fact, that could be a whole nother thing because I have issues with this, but whatever. But the fact of the matter is, I'm not seeing bodies like my own when I was younger. So I remember in kindergarten trying to make friends. I remember these three little girls, these fucking annoying ass girls. I was like, can I play with you guys? Because I was a friendly kid. It's really the world that got me down. Then I wasn't so, jovial and friendly with people no more. But I asked, can I play with you guys? And they're like, no, you don't look like us. Okay. What do you want me to do about that? Like, and I remember I went home one night. I was 5. When I was home one night, and I was about to go to sleep. I think I was taking a nap or something. I had to be by myself because I was in the big bed. I remember, because at a certain age, I still wanted to sleep in my parents' bed, and I had to be napping or something. I remember like also just starting to learn like what the hell God was. I'm thinking God could grant wishes, like you talk to God, he can give you anything. That's what I was told. So I'm thinking, okay, right? So it must have been bedtime. And I look up, I remember looking out the window, and I was always so fascinated, and I still am to this day. I just think it's such a strange and odd thing, and I would love to know the science behind, like, why are my palms white? And the only white thing on me or whatever. But I remember like staring at my palms and being so, transfixed on the idea of like, wait, I am part white. Like I could just really wish that I would be fully white, right? So I prayed to God, please, 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 like make me white. I won't ever ask you for anything ever again, right? And I went to sleep and I was crying. I really thought when I woke up the next day that I would be white. I really thought that. And I woke up and I wasn't. And I remember feeling so, not even angry. I don't even think that like anger was something I could access at that age. But it was like frustration and disappointment. Like, there I go being disappointed again. Like, there's my body who is not, my body is not cooperating with this reality that wants my body to be a certain thing, right? So when it comes down to like, you don't look like us, you can't play with us, it's like your body comes first and foremost. And I'm just thinking about a lot of like how this interacts with a whole bunch of other things. It's like, in addition to me disassociating constantly, um it feels like I am also trying to, like, we live our lives like decorating our bodies, right? And wanting to take control of the messages people have and the questions people have before we even get into a space. And that's whether you think you're doing that or not. Because you can say, I wear this because I want to and not because anybody else. That's still sending a type of message and to the people that you want to be in community with, right? So it's like, when I have to grapple with that and like knowing that, like, yeah, I have built my body the way I've always imagined. There's this other trend on TikTok where it's like 13-year-old me would think I was so cool, right? And I think that is true of young me as well. I feel like there's like an avatar to be actualized in adulthood, that you can't particularly access at a certain age. You just don't have the tools or the allowance or whatever it may be. But I feel like now, in my experiences with like relinquishing myself from my body, ignoring its messages and not using it as a source of information, and instead using the information that it's providing me to ignore it, and to ignore that information and to kind of like use it as a reason to not be in my body. Instead of being in my body and realizing what I'm feeling and grounding myself, I am choosing to leave that feeling in my body and go away somewhere. That's the best way I could describe what it feels like to disassociate, right? So I feel like in that experience and decorating it, I was thinking about a lot of things, which is why I wanted to record in this certain way this time. And I was thinking about someone else that I encountered in school, Sarah Bartman, who was, how can I even explain this? Like, traveled and showcased around because of her figure. She was like equivalent to a circus freak, because back then circuses would have black people as, the attractions that you could go see. You can go see someone eating fire and someone bending backwards, and you just see black people existing. And their bodies, again, are sending messages where it's like, this is for amusement. This is for entertainment. And in looking at this too, I'm like, this pissed me right the hell off. Like, iconic corpse. What the fuck is going on? Like, why are we talking about this woman, again, freak show attraction, talking about in the Hottentot Venus, right? Why are we talking about her in reference as a corpse, right? And it made me think a lot about too, like, this resurgence of the word bimbo, and I wanted to look it up because I just remember Pamela Anderson's documentary stuck with me so much. For some reason, I think it's just because you're recognizing this person is known for their body, and the ways they've decorated and adorned their body, and what other people have done to their body and advertised their body. And I just feel like that documentary was like, it wasn't perfect, but I just feel like it was really insightful. And it just made me think about like bimbos and like how that kind of like, I don't want to say she had a really horrible experience, right? But I just don't even think that black bimbos exist, right? When I think, could that exist, right? I don't think so. I think that it is, again, like this idea of black people's bodies being separate from their being or being their entire being. So therefore, we only exist in this physical space. We don't have a soul. We don't have meaning. We don't have desires, hopes, dreams, you know. So it's like, could we even be a bimbo? Because I feel like a bimbo is like this person with this really exaggerated body, right? Okay, so we see that with Sarah Bartman, I guess. You know, that's why they considered her to be a freak show attraction. A really, like, kind of exaggerated body, sometimes through surgery, sometimes not. And then, like, this airheadedness, right? And I'm just thinking, like, this is already how people view black people anyway, or black bodies anyway. Again, when you try to conjure up the idea of a black body, first of all, I know for me, my own prejudices, I'm thinking of a black man. Like, I'm thinking of men. I'm thinking of a black cis guy. And, you know, when we have this notion of who is like recipient of this violence, that's the main thing, is like people think this only happens to black men, right? So that's what comes up in my mind. But when you think of like black women, what do you think of? You think of this kind of like, you think of this iconic corpse. You think of freak show attraction. You think someone who is so beyond their, someone who does not possess, you know, like this grounded reality in life, who has a body that can be trotted around and ogled. I've never known how to say that word. I've only ever seen that word spelled out, and I've never heard it said out loud. And that we don't possess the intelligence to consider our beings to be beyond just a body, right? So while I loved Pam Anderson's documentary, I completely understand what she, well, I don't completely understand what she went through, but I understand what she went through. Whatever. I just don't even think that level of labeling a body in this like, how can I explain it? Like almost pop culture acceptable way is possible for black people, let alone black women. You know what I mean? And I just feel like in looking at this just totally made me feel separate from my body. It's like, when I die, what the hell am I going to be treated like? And also, like, when I feel not grounded in my body, what the hell is supposed to bring me back? I'm using my body as a source of information, but also the way people react to me and my body is also a source of information. Hold on. Saying hold on. It's my video, damn it. I'm gonna text if I want to text, actually. Yeah, so I feel like I often try to synthesize all these thoughts, and I don't really want to do that. I feel like I just want to follow this course of stream of consciousness and accept it as it is, and know and understand that, you know, my thoughts happen as they happen. I don't really think all these thoughts need to connect in a way, aside from the fact that I am thinking a lot more about my body this year and the messages it's sending me and how I'm perceiving myself and how I'm defining my body versus my mind and how I'm also joining them together. They're joining forces for the first time, you know, in spite of and parallel to how my body is being perceived. outside of my control. Um, yeah, that's it.